boom, guess who stepped in the room? It's a brand new year. Hello and welcome everybody. I am your host, CJ Jones, and this is Elephant Exposed. Happy New Year and former Merry Christmas. And I hope that you guys had a very good and safe celebration of the holidays all the way around. Well, it's been a little while since I've done a recording for you guys. There's always something to talk about. Someone has always been wronged in the world of justice, and there's always something being caught on camera. Someone done somebody wrong. Song constantly plays 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I'm not going to be in a rush per se to just jump into that because this is a brand new year. So I want to start out something a little different, like what's been going on. So right now I'm just talking off the rip because like I said, I can easily just go through the headlines of my Facebook or my Instagram and bring up a headline or something, and it'll just get your blood going and stuff. But we don't want to exactly start out the year just like that, not just yet. So, what happened over the holidays? Well, two things I know definitely happened. We lost two very popular souls. Miss Betty White, she was known from my generation as being one of the main actresses of the Golden Girls. And I want to say that she lived to the young age of 99. And the football NFL world famous Hall of Famer coach, the greatest or the most popular video game out there for all these gamers that play football and stuff, Mr. John Madden. They said that he had passed suddenly. I want to say he was age 85. And so those are like the two like celebrity big pieces of news out there. And like how we kind of tease, me and my friends, we kind of tease each other a little bit about, man, if you ever have the go, God calls your name and number, and he happened to call you at the same time of a celebrity, you might not get that much shine. So if you guys, and we're not casting any shadows on any other of the people that did not make it all the way over to the brand new year. I was raised very old school by my mother, who was a very avid Christian faith believer. And if anything, she would have me and the rest of my siblings and stuff, and we would be celebrating the turn of the new year, either in prayer or just around each other and so forth. And we would be appreciating our immediate circle right there. But of course, not, the rest of, of society. Everybody has their own way, have their own culture of bringing in the new year and celebrating and different things like that. And it is something to be celebrated because let's face it, guys, tomorrow isn't promised to us. Either way you slice it. So there you have it. And it's right because I said it. Nah. But anyway, Okay, guys. So outside of that, we all know it's or if you have any form of media device that's available, we know that it is still football season and we are coming to the peak of it all, of playoff time. And whether your team has made it or not, um, we still loving football. I mean, that's just what we do here. So, good luck to all the teams that have made it so far, and for the teams that have already been seeded for the playoffs. Congratulations, everybody. Um, and we'll just see how it all folds out. I'm just happy personally that my team happened to be sitting in a very nice seat right now, and we still jockeying for a higher seed. But it is what it is. This is kind of funny because considering that even though my team is an older championship team, my team are the underdogs. So this is going to be kind of funny and interesting all at the same time. So um, I'm just proud of them. I feel like they've really turned um, their the team around, and of course, every team has room for improvement and so forth. And we just hope that everybody stays healthy and just go for it, man. Just go for it. I mean, I'm not out there. I mean, I have love for my team and everything, but I'm not a delusional fan. I'll put it like that. Okay, and so next topic, what's been burning up the headlines, or actually, it really hasn't gone away. And I'm thinking that, like, on the political side of the world, that's basically what the Republicans versus the Democrats and stuff like that are trying to do in the House. You're constantly seeing highlights of January 6th riot board members still head hunting Donald Trump and his cronies and who's accountable. And now uh, they're moving into the world of criminality now. Now my ears are starting to perk up and kind of like leaning in, like, okay, so now we're talking what could possibly um, they're looking into the different um, um, rules and policies that are set forth by the former president and his failure to stop the insurrection. And now they're talking about even like where he was, his demeanor, how many people tried to reach out to him, and even your far right uh, media host, Fox News, and the Hannity is your Hannitys and your Laura Ingrams and all your other people that's just way right, and even some of your conservatives and stuff like that. Um, they are start well they didn't start, they knew it was all BS from the start, but they have to put on this show or this facade for their followers, you know, and in closed text messages, they were just as shocked and just as dismayed as anybody else, you know, that was viewing what was really going on. And now what you're starting to see is evidently someone in Trump's camp is starting to be like, okay, man, this is it. This is what really happened. This is what really went down. And this is what Trump was really doing. He could have done this, and this. And because of this individual or individuals are now going back and being like, hey, this is what actually took place. Now it's giving the January 6th committee board room to start to look at what could be brought up as possible criminal charges outside of dereliction of duty. Dereliction of duty is actually, I'm familiar with it through a military standpoint. In the dereliction of duty, guys, that's normally a non-judicial punishment. So not to say that you're not accountable, it's just that you're not gonna serve time, because basically all it's basically saying is that you was charged to do a particular job, you were found wanting in that job, and now here is your punishment. Punishment does not necessarily mean you get to serve time behind bars, but nevertheless, you know, it's the whole shade of shame. So that's that. So we'll be following things like that. But let me take a step back. There have been, unfortunately, guys, what I think way too many unnecessary young lives being taken. And I know this is a stereotypical thing to say, but way too soon. My dad, he used to quote an old line from an old movie back in the day. It was an old Western movie. It was called Trinity. And nevertheless, it doesn't make this line any less true. And the line says this: the secret to a long life is to not shorten it. What's going on? What in the world is going on? We're right here in Charlotte, North Carolina, man. And right here in North Carolina, I know that I probably had about 2 to 3, at least 2 to 3 highlights in my news feed informing us that there have been young Black homicides. You know, young men being arrested and charged with homicide. And I'm just like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's almost, it feels almost like a trend. You know, just something to do. Like, and please help me out, guys. If you guys have an opinion on this, I want to hear you, because it's almost like the younger the generation is, the less regard that our generation has for life itself. I remember we used to say this as teenagers coming up. It's like the youth don't care about life. But this generation, the millennials, like they really don't seem to have any regard, not for themselves, let alone anyone else. You know, and a lot of people, you know, and I respect all perspectives in all walks of life when it comes to something like this, because we're talking human life. So whether you talk about it from a religious perspective, whether you talk about it from a scientific perspective, a mathematic perspective, or geological, whatever. I mean, what it all boils down to is, to my question, how do we turn this thing around? How do we instill in our youth, in this millennial generation of children, how do we begin to teach them the value of life all over again? Or is it just that we've gone so far in making sure that our children and our children's children are never going to have to know what it's like to want, to need, to suffer, to be hungry, to do any of those things? And because we had that mentality, we've actually ended up hurting our youth. Is it Generation X's fault that the millennials have the mindset that they have? See, back in my day, my mom and my dad, even in other homes, we were upset when we became older. We became upset because we said our parents had a double standard. We came from a generation to where it was do as I say, but not as I do. And I get that. I really, really get that. So then our generation come up and says, well, I'm gonna keep it real with me and mine, and I ain't gonna do what my parents did. Well, there's a good and a bad to everything, guys. Yes, I agree. Should we, as we are raising our children, have a double standard? No. But should we be trying to still instill in our children and their children and then their children the value of holding people accountable? Yes. If you're going to say you're going to do something, do it. If you're going to say that you are living a certain kind of way, then you need to be living a certain kind of way. That cuts down on a whole lot of quote unquote hypocrisy and double standard and so forth like that. Okay, so how do we turn this thing around? We have to start back, in my opinion. Get back to the basics. Sit your children down. I don't care if they're grown. And what is grown? That's a question within itself. Exactly what is grown? Is grown an actual age? Or is it the maturity level of the mind? That's something to think about a little later. But as of right now, let's just say that it's a number thing. So you sit your old enough child down and begin to have these conversations with him, because mind you guys, all the big mamas are no longer with us. They left about 2 or 3 years ago. I don't even think there's a big mama around. And if they are, you guys have a jewel and you need to be really preserving everything that Big Mama has to say and treasuring her. And if it's not a Big Mama, Pops, you better be listening, because old school men, they don't do a whole lot of talking. Not a whole lot. So if you happen to have someone that is old school and up in their 70s and 80s, you need to be getting all the knowledge that you can from these treasures, because they're not going to be with us always. And yes, we have access to a lot of information, but it is not the same as getting life instruction from an older, wiser person. And if anything, you need to be recording them, because what they are saying is more than gold. It is platinum. And is going to carry you throughout the rest of your life. The young are called because we're strong. The old are called because they are wise. They lived it. And no, just because we have a different name for something, it's still all the same, guys. There's nothing new under the sun that happens. Nothing. We may have a different way of calling it something different. It may be slightly modified or whatever the case may be, but we're talking life. When it comes to life, problems, issues, situations, sicknesses, marriages, dealing with, plagues, diseases, and so forth. Listen to your elders. Cherish them. So, got off on the topic with that because that's kind of a sensitive topic for me. My parents are gone. And my grandmother and everybody like that. So they're resting. So now it's on me. It's up to me, and it's up to my generation to recall, remember, and to teach my children, and for my children to remember and teach their children. Guys, this is real. This is really, really real. And it ain't going nowhere. So you can put on blinders if you want to, no matter how we're looking at the world, whether it's and through your social media devices and so forth. You can distract yourself. You can do all kinds of things and pretend that life isn't happening, but it's happening with you or without you, regardless. So you might as well buckle in and buckle down. And you're going to have to be able to deal with certain things. Right now, what I see is the lack of having to accept accountability, regardless as to what injustices my show is going to be sharing with you guys, or regardless as to something political going on, whether it's left or right or somewhere in between. What we're looking for as adults as reasonable, prudent-minded thinking people, we are looking for accountability outside of responsibility. In other words, how are we going to go about fixing the situation? How are we going to go about rectifying a situation? It's easy to point, but it takes a very mature individual to take on the accountability and like, okay, listen, this is what I need to do to set this thing right, or as right as I possibly can. So, lots of things to talk about. I'm going to try to keep this one short, and I hope you guys, like I said before, have enjoyed your holiday, and I hope to see you guys next week. We're gonna pick some topics out next time, and we're just gonna break down some videos and so forth. And I'm looking to having you with me to do that. In the meantime, you guys be good, and I'll catch you on the other side.